Today I'm going to be rating some of my favourite and least favourite products. I'm going to put the names and the prices up so you know what I'm talking about. Some of these are products I've seen a lot online. They've been really popular. I'm going to start with makeup and then I will move to skincare. Okay, starting with concealers. I actually haven't seen anyone talking about either of these. These are both empty. I literally just used up this one. This one is the Collection Lasting Finish one. Like I said, I just used this one up like today. I don't really like this one that much. I feel like it has no coverage. It's like almost transparent in my opinion. It was quite cheap though, so I guess it's kind of what I paid for, but I personally don't really like this one. I also have a big problem with the applicator. Like the applicator just has such a weird shape. It's just really like bent, and I think that it makes it a lot harder to put the concealer on. However, I did use it all up because I don't like wasting products. I don't know if I just bought this shade too pale or something, but I feel like it conceals nothing. I blend it in and it disappears. I'd give it like a 5 out of 10, I think. It's not the worst, but it's definitely not my favorite. This is the W7 HD concealer. I don't know how I managed to break this. I did finish this before it broke, but I don't know how I managed to literally pull the whole lid out. Okay, it's like gonna go everywhere, but this is the applicator. It's a much thicker applicator. I much prefer this one. I feel like there's more coverage to this concealer. I like the applicator more, and also I like that this one specifies that it's cruelty free. I try and buy cruelty free makeup when I can, but a lot of the time I find that the cruelty free makeup is more expensive. It's not always possible. This one says that it's cruelty free. I can only assume that this one isn't if it doesn't explicitly say. That's usually the case. But yeah, I definitely prefer this one. There are definitely better ones that are more expensive, but like I said, I don't want to buy more expensive concealers. So moving on to mascaras. This is the e.l.f. lengthening mascara. I really like this one. I think this is the best mascara I've ever tried. I don't remember which one I had before this, but I think it was around the same price and it definitely was not as good. And surprisingly, this isn't even on the more expensive side of e.l.f. products. Almost all e.l.f. products are just really good and they're very affordable without being really bad quality. I think I've almost run out of this mascara because I love it so much, and you don't need a lot for it to actually work. It lasts quite a while, I think. I think this was on the more affordable side of mascaras. Usually mascara is like insanely expensive for these tiny little bottles, but I think this was quite reasonable actually. I can't remember exactly how much it was. The only thing I will say is that I wish the applicator was a bit more like bent, because this is very straight and my eyelashes are not straight. It just makes it a lot harder, but overall I love this mascara. I'll definitely be repurchasing. I am hesitant to show this mascara. This is meant to be a clear mascara, but I apply it after I use my black mascara, so it's gone black. The clear mascara is no longer clear. I feel like everyone I know has had this mascara. I feel like every British person has had this mascara. Like anyone who owns makeup has definitely owned this mascara. I don't know what it is about this. It's just everywhere. I'm actually not entirely sure why I bought a clear mascara, but I do use it to like separate my lashes now, and I also use it because it lengthens it like the tiniest little bit. I wouldn't say this is like a necessity, but if you don't want to wear like really bold prominent mascara, I'd say it's like a 7 out of 10. This is kind of a random one. I don't really own any other blushes. This is the like only blush I own, and I will probably own it for the next like 10 years because like this does not wear down. I've been using this for well over a year and I've barely grazed the top. It is vegan, so no animal testing. Definitely a positive. Like I said, this just does not wear down at all. I've barely made a dent in this. I feel like this is okay, but I also think that it wears off pretty quickly. I feel like even when I do the full like moisturiser, primer, powder combo, like it just doesn't stay on. It will stay on for like an hour or two, but if you're really like outside moving around, it's not gonna stay for that long. It's like okay, but definitely not my favorite. I'd say this is like a 6 out of 10. Moving on to lip products. I also don't have a lot of these, but I feel like I have the ones that I need. Okay, I'll start with like lip glosses. First is the e.l.f. lip gloss. I hear a lot of people saying how good this is, how much they love it, but honestly I don't really like this, and that might just be me because I've seen a lot of people say that it's amazing and just using it like all the time, but I feel like it wears off really quickly, and I feel like it's not that glossy, and I also feel like it wears off really quickly. I actually got this clear. This was a clear lip gloss once upon a time. I think I did it in a geography lesson and I put my red lip tint into it, so now it's like pink, so that might have had some kind of effect on the formula. But honestly, even when it was still clear and I used it clear, I used it all the time and it didn't make any kind of difference. I didn't see any difference really. There was like a slight gloss to it and that was it. So overall, I'd say this is probably like a 6 out of 10, maybe a 7 if you want a more subtle lip gloss. This must be like the cheapest thing I own out of like all the makeup I have. I don't remember exactly how much, but I know that it was really, really cheap and I love this. I love this so much. I'm not a huge lip gloss fan just because I don't like the way it feels a lot of the time. It feels really sticky. I don't like it. So So I don't wear lip gloss a lot, but if I do, I always go for this one because I feel like it's just glossy enough. It's not like too glossy. It is slightly sticky, so one thing I will say about the e.l.f. lip gloss is that it's less sticky. You can't really tell it's there. However, this one is kind of sticky, so if it's a windy day, your hair is 100% getting stuck in this. But overall, I'd probably say this is one of my favorite lip products ever. I don't love tube lip glosses because of the applicator. I find it really awkward, but I do really like this lip gloss and I can stand it if it's a good product. I'd say this is like an 8 out of 10. My next lip product is Burt's Bees. I know this isn't often classed as an affordable lip product because they are quite expensive for like lip balms, but I feel like compared to some other ones, they're quite cheap. I like had to take my hair down. I don't know, like it was really annoying me. Okay, anyway, back to the lip balm. I got this as a gift around a year ago, I think, and this is in the flavor Sweet Mandarin. I love this so much. It smells really nice too. Like, it tastes nice, it smells nice. There's like nothing about this I don't like. It's really moisturizing too, and I feel like you don't need a lot of it for it to work, which I love because it means it doesn't run out as fast. I absolutely love this. This is one of my favorite lip balms ever. I love it so much and I bring it in my pencil case because I always seem to need this. This is a solid 9 out of 10. This is the last lip product. This is the 17 lip pencil. I actually don't use this that much because I got it in like the exact same shade as my lips somehow, and it doesn't make any kind of difference whatsoever. So I think I probably should have bought it darker, but overall I do absolutely love this product. I think it works for a really long time. It stays on forever, and also it's really easy to apply. You can't really feel it once it's there. It's not like really noticeable. So yeah, I definitely love this. I honestly don't wear lip liner a lot, probably because this one doesn't show up, so there's no point. But I do love this lip liner. Just because of how easy it is to apply. I don't remember this being a lot, so I think it's definitely worth the money. I think this is like an 8 out of 10. Okay, moving on to highlighters. I'm honestly still conflicted on highlighters because I have opinions about both of these. I'm going to start with the 17 powder highlighter. I've also barely made a dent in this one. That seems to be a reoccurring theme with the 17 products. They last forever. I don't know how I feel about this because I prefer putting this one in like the corners of my eyes than using this one. But at the same time, I feel like it's too pink. It's not quite as bright as this one, and I don't know if I like it as much. I do sometimes use this just for the corners of my eyes, but if you want like the nose highlighter, it's just not as good. So honestly, I don't really know how I feel about this. I think it depends on what I want the highlighter for. I think I'd give this like a 6 or 7 out of 10. And then moving on to this is the NYX Jumbo Highlighter. This was a bit more expensive, and I do see why, but also it's literally already running out. Wait! Oh my god, I literally had no idea it was twistable. I've had this for around 6 months and I've never noticed that it's twistable. Okay, now I feel really stupid. Well, that brought my rating up a bit. I was gonna say it's almost running out because it's at like a stump, and I was really sad that it was running out and I'd have to buy a new one, but it's literally twistable. I didn't know that, and now I feel really stupid. I love this highlighter for like if you want the highlighter on like the bridge of your nose. However, for the corners of your eyes, I feel like the end is a bit too thick for that. I feel like this just isn't the right shape, and I prefer using powder highlighter. So this one also lasts a pretty long time. However, it admittedly does not last as long as the powder highlighter. I think this one lasts around 4 or 5 hours maybe. I think this is like a 7 or 8 out of 10. Okay, this is like the only primer I've ever tried because I don't really wear foundation or anything, so I feel like it's not necessary for me to buy like a super expensive primer. I put it like under my eyes a lot, and I find that this works really well. When I do use it, there's definitely a huge difference, and I remember saying when I got this, like, there's no difference at all, but my opinion has definitely changed. I prefer this a lot more now, and I would definitely recommend this even if you do wear like heavier products like foundation. I feel like it just works really well for anything really, so I'd say this is like 9 out of 10. That's everything for my makeup products, so I'm gonna move on to skincare. There isn't as much for skincare because I feel like I have a very limited skincare routine. I feel like if I tried to put more products on my face, it would make my skin worse, so I stick to kind of cleanser and moisturiser. Okay, starting with the simple face wash. I absolutely love this face wash. I do prefer the other one. I think it's called Refreshing Facial Wash, and this is the moisturising one. I feel like the refreshing one, it lives up to its name. It's more refreshing, and I don't really like the feeling of the moisturising one. It's just how thick this one is. I really don't like it, but once it's on, like, it's fine. And I do love this one. This is like the 3rd time I've repurchased this because I love this facial wash. I do get through them really slowly, and also as simple as cruelty free. They're a vegan brand, so I go to them for like everything, every time. I love them. Also, I've noticed that like no product I've tried from them has been bad. And also this one doesn't have a smell. It really annoys me when like skincare and makeup has a smell, and this one doesn't have a smell at all. I love this one. This is like a 9 out of 10, I think. Okay, moving on to the e.l.f. cleanser. You can kind of see that I've used most of this. Well, I actually stopped using it because I noticed that my skin got worse while I was using this cleanser. I think that's just one of the things that's like very specific to me, but I started breaking out the second that I used this cleanser. I hardly ever break out like properly, but when I use this, I like fully properly broke out, and it kind of confused me until I kind of linked it to this. When I stopped using it, like everything was fine again. However, like I said, I think that's just my skin specifically, and honestly I don't know what type of skin mine is, so I can't give a full review on this, but I will say research this before you use it as much as you would research any other skincare product, because I think it's definitely very specific to your skin. This just did not work for me. That's my take on it. I was really disappointed with this because I usually love e.l.f.'s stuff, but this one just I didn't like it. Okay, onto moisturizers. This is honestly the only moisturizer I have. I did have a different one before this that I absolutely hated. I cannot remember what it was called, but I left it at my dad's house and he's now in another country. I absolutely love this one. This is the one I'm currently using, and then this is the new one. And I'm really hoping they didn't change the formula because they changed the packaging a bit. It's like exactly the same product, like same size and everything, but the packaging's different. So I'm hoping it was just like a rebrand and not a full change of the formula. But the first one that I got I really like, so I'm hoping that's the same with the second one. I absolutely hate products that you can like feel on your skin, but I can actually never feel this on my skin, and it also kind of absorbs really fast. Like it doesn't just stay there for ages. I would give this a 9 out of 10, I think.